You are approached by a frenzied scientist who yells, "I'm going to put my quantum harmonizer in your photonic resonation chamber." What's your response?
I'd grab a pipe and knock him out.
A pipe, you say? Next question. While working as an intern in the clinic, a patient with a strange infection on his foot stumbles through the door. The infection is spreading at an alarming rate, but the doctor has stepped out for a while. What do?
Amputate the foot before the infection spreads?
Amputation. Next question. You discover a young boy lost in a cave. He's hungry and frightened, but also appears to be in possession of stolen property. What do?
I'd pick the boy's pocket to take the stolen property for myself and leave him to his fate.
Very curious. Congratulations! Hey, you made it onto a baseball team. Which position do you prefer?
Designated hitter.
Are you certain about that? Never mind. Next question. Your grandmother invites you to tea, but you're surprised when she gives you a pistol and orders you to kill someone. What do?
I'd ask for a minigun, so I can do the job right.
Please treat the question seriously. Or are you? Next. Old Mr. Abernathy has locked himself in his quarters again, and you've been ordered to get him out. How do you proceed?
I'd trade for a cherry bomb and blow it open.
And that is all you do? Nothing else? Wait, don't answer. Next. Oh no. You've been exposed to radiation and a mutated hand has grown out of your stomach. What's the best course of treatment?
I'd cut off the mutated tissue with a precision laser.
Technological bias. A neighbor is in possession of a Grognak the Barbarian comic book, issue number 1. You want it. What's the best way to obtain it?
I'd point a gun in his face and take it from him.
You're almost done. Last question. You decide it would be fun to play a prank on your father. You enter his private restroom when no one is looking, and...
I'd replace his blood pressure medicine with sugar pills.
Test's over. No one's ever answered quite like you. But hey, you passed. I'll open up the gate.
Happy Halloween, everyone. My name is Derknomicon, and I hope you're all having a safe and fun Halloween. Today's build is Halloween themed, and I decided to try to replicate the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Well, per se. Like in all my other videos, there will be navigation links for you to fast travel to a certain spot in the video. I also would like to thank you for clicking on my video. It really does mean a lot, and the feedback I get from you all is always helpful. So without further ado, sit back, enjoy some candy for me, or whatever you may be enjoying for your Halloween night, and let me guide you through this horrifying build. In the beginning, the stats that Jekyll and Hyde will have will be 9 strength, 6 perception, 9 endurance, 1 charisma, 1 intelligence, 1 agility, and 1 luck. The special book from Sean's room will be put into intelligence. Due to the chemicals that Dr. Jekyll created with his chemistry lab, his alter ego Mr. Hyde gains increased amounts of brutish strength. Mr. Hyde also has very high perception when stalking his latest victims and enemies. Dr. Jekyll always saw himself as a weak individual, very smart, but weak nonetheless. But with the help of his chems, he becomes much more powerful and able to take hits and dish them back tenfold. Dr. Jekyll never really had a way with words, and he thought that his chems would make him more confident, but he soon realized that the chems made him less charismatic and more thuggish and brutish. Dr. Jekyll used to be the top of his chemistry class, but the years of chem use took its toll. Ironically, that intelligence carries over to Mr. Hyde, so not only is he hulkish, but he has the brains to match also. When Dr. Jekyll uses his chems, Mr. Hyde has high amounts of agility. He is able to move extremely fast, so fast it's almost like time itself is having an asthma attack trying to keep up. He is also able to leap higher and further. He uses these skills to get away from pursuing attackers, or to get to his next victim. Those who used to be close to Dr. Jekyll would always tell him that he'd be running out of luck every time he uses his chems to become Mr. Hyde. This is true, but Mr. Hyde believes that with his strength, endurance, agility, and intelligence, he doesn't need luck. He makes it up on his own. Now let's go over the perks this brutish scientist will hoist into battle. In the strength stat line, you will get all 5 of Iron Fist, all 4 of Armor, and all 3 of Rooted. In the perception stat line, you will get both of Awareness and all 3 of Night Person. In the endurance stat line, you will get all 5 of Toughness, all 3 of Life Giver, both of the Chem Resistant, all 3 of Adamantium Skeleton, all 3 of Cannibal, and all 3 of Solar Powered. In the Charisma stat line, you will get all 3 of Lady Killer and all 4 of Lone Wanderer. In the intelligence stat line, you will get all 4 of medic and all 4 of chemist. In the agility stat line, you will get all 3 of action boy and all 3 of moving target. And lastly, in the luck stat line, you will get all 4 of fortune finder. Now we're going to go over factions. Since Mr. Hyde is going to be out most of the time thanks to Dr. Jekyll wanting to be more than just a scientist, Hyde will opt to join the railroad since he knows what it's like to be a slave to an egghead. Also, if he helps the railroad, he will gain access to the Ballistic Weave's armor mods for his snazzy attire. After completing the main story, you will eventually head to Nuke World, where you will find 3 raider factions coexisting. Since you will become their new boss, you will have to decide who will represent you in the Commonwealth. Mr. Hyde likes how the Disciples operate, but also likes the animalistic side of the pack. So you will need to choose either one faction or split between 2. The choice is up to you. Now let's talk about the gear. For the gear, I chose to make Dr. Jekyll / Mr. Hyde look dapper but also sort of threatening. So once you deal with Oswald in Nuke World, make sure you grab his tuxedo and his top hat. The tuxedo grants the wearer 15% reduced damage from humans and increases their charisma and endurance by 1. The top hat grants the wearer plus 10% increased movement speed and adds +1 to their perception and their charisma. Make sure to add the Ballistic Weave armor mod to the tuxedo for adding damage threshold. I chose not to use any weapons for this build because Mr. Hyde relies on his strength and fists. If you want to use any melee weapons or fist weapons, that is totally up to you. Now, towards the end game with all the bobbleheads collected, Jekyll and Hyde will have 10 strength, 7 perception, 10 endurance, 4 charisma, 8 intelligence, 7 agility, and 2 luck. And that concludes this week's build. Now, I know this was a shorter one than usual, but I'm a college student at the moment and I'm trying to pursue to get my digital communications degree, and I don't normally have enough time to make these videos as much as I used to. But I hope you got a kick out of this Halloween themed Fallout 4 build, and I hope you all had a bountiful, fun, and safe Halloween. I want to thank you again for watching my video all the way through if you did, and I encourage you to give feedback, leave a like or dislike. Share this video with your friends and family who enjoy these types of videos, and think about subscribing for new Fallout 4 and Skyrim character builds for the future, along with some miscellaneous gameplay from other games here and there. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next video.